Rightio. So, welcome. I'm Dreyer, and I'd like to share with you my blueprint on how I've turned a single dollar into more than $500,000 in a cryptocurrency portfolio in less than 2 years. So, if that is something that would interest you, please let me know. Also, tell me where you're from. Karen, thank you. It's not a April's Fool story, it's real. So, Christo, maybe what we can do is looking forward to what you've got to say. So in the meantime, if you're new to this channel on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe, that you click that subscribe button as well as the bell icon to be notified of any new information and stuff that we are going to send out. And then, yeah. So basically what I'd like to do today is to share with you. If you know of other people that would like to have this information, or if you come on board at a later stage, please make sure that you like. I really appreciate the likes. I see there's already 22 thumbs up and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be nice. Also tag maybe your friends or maybe your financial planner so that they can get on this as well and see what we do and how we do it and why we do the way that we do it. So thank you everyone. It's great to have you all on board, and I think let's start with the presentation. It's going to be interactive. There will be time for question and answers, but in the meantime, the more you're going to comment, the more and the better it's going to be for us. I will come back to try to, I don't know how many people is going to be on here at the live session, but I'll try. I'm definitely going to answer all the questions and make sure that we stay on until each and every question has been answered. So the question is, maybe just let me know if you would like to know how to get this blueprint in order to get to a dollar into $500,000. So that is basically in my program. I made a slideshow, a copy of this. It was about 2 hours ago. Now this is actually live. If we've got the time, we'll go into that. And it can go up and down crazy. But here's the thing that I want you to have a look at. You know, do you think it's possible to get a 57 million % return on investment? And do you know how to do such a thing? So in the comment section, please let me know if you think it is possible. And let's see if you can, yeah, let's get the conversation going. So what I'm going to share with you is my blueprint. And if you follow that and you've got the, now I can tell you beforehand, unless you've got the skill, it is not going to be possible. There's no quick fix, but I'm going to share everything. And basically this is a condensed, I think it's going to be an hour or 2 hours, I'm not sure how long, but I'm only going to show you the principles. At the later stage, there will be ways that we can get deeper into this. Okay, so 57% IRR, return on investment, I don't think a lot of people can get it. And that is the question, why will most people never get this kind of growth? And then in the comment section, if you're live, please let me know. Also at the later stage, if you join at the later stage, participate as if this is live. And in the comment section, tell me what you think. Tell me, why is it that you think that most people will never be able to do it? Right, Rudy, net as jou naam Hannes is, that's in Afrikaans, only if your name is Hannes. And then, I don't know, but I want to know. And Karen, that is why you're here, and that's it. And knowing Hannes, we can do it. I know that you can do it. The trick that I want to do is today, I want to actually show you how you can do it. Okay, so I'm quickly going to tell you why I think most people will never be able to get this, right? This kind of growth. And maybe what I can do is to put on my face there as well. Not that one. I need to do this. Yeah, that is going to work so that you can see that I'm actually with you. And it's not just a face talking or something talking there. Right, so what if I told you that, and this is from that flick, that no matter how much information you share with your friends about the corrupt government, and it's not only the government, it's also the financial system, right? And how they are taking our money and our liberties from us. 97% of people is not going to care until it's too late. In other words, the moment that you get to retirement, you're going to find out, but I should have listened, or I should actually started to figure out what is going on. But why is this the case? Why is this the case? The problem is that we're in a state of confoculation. Now, confoculation, let me define, it's my definition for it. It's a mental state of mind when you do not know that you don't know what you're supposed to know. In other words, the moment that you know the truth, and that is what I'm going to hopefully share with you, the way that I see it. Remember, this is my belief system. I may be totally wrong. Maybe I've got drank the wrong pill. Right? So it's just my way. But confoculation is when we do not know that we don't know what we're supposed to know. Now, the governments, as well as the financial institutions, as well as the education system, does not want you, they do not want you to know the truth. Because if you see how simple and straightforward the truth is, and this is what I'm going to share with you today, you're going to say, but yeah, why was I, let's call it, suckered into this belief system that it is difficult? Right, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty in this session, but I'd like you to open your mind and let go of your limited current belief systems. In other words, if you think 57 million is impossible, just stick with me. And then at the end, you can decide if it's for you or if it's not for you or whatever, because your belief systems will always be right. But if you want to go to the next level, you have to let go of your past limited beliefs, because it's only because of our limited beliefs that people can't do that. Okay, so they're in a state of confoculation, and the system wants to keep you in a state of confoculation, and they will never ever tell you and share with you and educate you in order on the truth. They can't do it, because then they've got a serious problem, or that's the way that they see it. Now, the main thing when it comes to money and investments, first of all, we do not understand money, all right? Money is just a illusion, and it is forced onto us by governments, and they can print as much money as they want, but they don't give us the rights to do the same. But the truth is, we can print. I can literally print over a year $500,000 or $1 million, all right? Simply because I know I'm doing it a little bit slower than the printers, but I can still do it, and hopefully by the end of tonight, you'll be able to see how simple it is so that you can go out and do it. Now, because we do not understand risk, we get qualifications and degrees, but it is fed by the educational system and the financial system on us, and then we think that this is the truth, but it's not necessarily the truth. It is their truth, and then they force it onto us, and then we teach other people thinking that we are clever because we've got the degrees and we've got the suits, you know, that, and then they pay us in order to tell them something that is not even the truth. Okay, well, that's my belief system. I may be wrong. So here we go. Because they do not understand risk. Risk is, according to Warren Buffett, is when you do not know what you're doing. So the moment that you've got the skill and you know what you do, you start to eliminate the risk. And here's another funny thing. The lower the risk is going to be, the higher the growth is going to be. Right. The risk is measured in terms of that I'm putting into my investment. Plus, you have to take your risk into consideration in terms of if you stand security, how are you going to offset that? Because it's easy to go to the bank to get money there and start a business, and you can say, but it's no money out of my pocket. But what happens if that venture that you're in does not work out? Then they're going to take your house away and all the money that you pledge. Okay, so the two goes hand in hand. It's very easy to start something where it costs you nothing. And this $1 didn't cost me something, and I did not stand security for that dollar. And I did not involve other people or get their money in order to help me or sponsors or anything like that. So That simply means that I have the skill to be able to do it. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the skill. So how do I know if my money is working for me or not? This little formula, the IGR must be bigger than the FFGR, is a very important formula or equation that no one, especially the financial institutions, will never teach you. Now, the IGR simply stands for your investment growth rate. Okay? That is an expression of how hard your money is working for you. Your FFGR simply stands for your financial freedom growth rate. In other words, there's a very simple way in order to calculate this. And by the way, in the comment section, if you haven't got this, please let me know. I've got a little crash course that I can give you with the Excel spreadsheet. We'll send that to you, even if you join at a later stage. Just let us know. From time to time, we will come back, have a look at that, and then I'll ask Netta and Lilu to just send you the link so that you can. It's free of charge because it is my way to help you to open your mind to show you how simple it is to calculate. There's only 3 variables that you need. You need to know by when do you want to be financially free. You need to know in today's value, how much money do you need in order to be financially free? And then, but how much money do you have in order to invest? And by the way, I'm going to, in this session, take you through the different ways in order to be able to do it, to show you, even on a normal Excel spreadsheet, there's absolutely nothing in it. And then the program that I've got is going to calculate your freedom number. And then based on that freedom number, right, it's going to calculate simply what is the financial freedom growth rate. Now, why is that important and so important? Maybe the most important equation that you'll ever learn in your life when it comes to finances, because now we've got a benchmark. In other words, if I've got a goal, and let's say it is to get on compounded growth a 60%, 60%, right? And I've got 1,000 Rand to invest, or $1,000 or pound or euro, wherever you may be in the world, because the principles apply anywhere in the world, right? It simply means that if I invest my money, but my money is working less than that, so if it works less than that, so if my growth rate is 10% or 15% on a mutual fund or a unit trust or a pension fund or a provident fund or a retirement fund or a deposit, then I know that money is busy rotting and it's literally stealing my freedom because I cannot get more than 60% growth. So the 60% growth is your escape velocity, your financial escape velocity. And it has got 2 functions. So when we get, in order to get to the outer space, so to speak, we need to have a lot of energy, right? And that energy is measured in terms of the growth that you must get. So that's your financial freedom growth rate. As soon as you're financially free, you're going to find that then suddenly you've got 200 million options, because money gives you the options. It gives you the freedom of time, it gives you financial freedom, it gives you the freedom of choice and the freedom of purpose, where you can pursue those things that you really want to pursue. By the way, we'll come back a little bit later to the questions. I see there's a lot of people making comments and stuff like that. Terry, for example, I see that sent the link IGR to FFGR. Lilo and Netta, I think, Lilo, I see that you're on, and Netta, you're on. You can, in the meantime, start sending the links to the people. Maybe wait till the end, because otherwise they're going to start figuring that out instead of paying attention to this. So maybe send it to at the end. Okay, so that IGR is important, because now the only way, if it's 60% compounded, say for example over 10 years, I can guarantee you almost the only way that you'll be able to do it is you cannot give your money to someone else, because they are not. You're taking a huge risk by doing that. In other words, I'm giving the money that I've worked for someone else. I'm taking all the risk, but I've got no control over the growth. So the only thing that we can do is to learn the skills. And I'm going to give you the outline of the skills that I've used in order to do this, so that you can start doing this for yourself. It's by taking the responsibility and learning the skill, that's the only way that you can do it. And I do not know of any rich person anywhere in the world that did not apply this that I'm sharing with you. Maybe they do not express it this way, but unless their IGR was bigger than their financial freedom growth rate, they would never be in the position that they're in. Now, another problem that we've got, a serious problem, and I fall into that category because when I started, I thought that I must get the qualifications and the degrees and the bullshit story in order to be able to do it. But what I realized in 1987 when I made my breakthroughs was that there's two systems. The one is to teach you about money, about finances, about investments, about taxes, about estate duties, about capital gains tax, and all of that, and about risk profiles, and about, but they never, ever teach you the skill to actually make the money or to grow your money at 50 million%. They never do that. Plus, they never teach you about risk, because to them, risk means hand your money over to them, and then they let you believe that you have to be a low risk, a medium risk, or high risk in order to put the onus back to you if things do not work out, because they never take responsibility. Or at least this is the way that I see it. If you're a CFP or a CPA or a MBA, tell me if I'm wrong, right? I'm here to learn. But before you tell me I'm wrong, show me that I'm wrong, and show me that you can get better growth than what I'm going to share with you this evening or during this webinar. Right, so let's carry on. What gives me the right to be able to talk about, I'm a normal, ordinary person, by the way. I'm not a financial advisor. I was many years ago, but I'm definitely, I retired at the age of 37, so I'm not trying to give you advice. See this as fun, see this as entertainment, and see this as a person that is 63 that knows nothing what he's doing, but for some crazy reason, he's got the time to be able to amuse other people, especially with his special kind of English. Okay, so what gives me the right? Let me tell you, and let me share with you some of the, let's say, achievements or results that I've done. To those of you that do not know me, I'm Hannes Dreyer. My students called me most of the time Oom Hannes for some crazy reason. And by the way, that is my honorary title, or Uncle Hannes. Oom is Afrikaans for uncle, so you are more than welcome to call me Oom or Hannes. I don't like the fancy title of doctor because it's a bloody useless qualification in any case. I'm a wealth creator. A wealth creator is a person that knows how to create, to grow, and to protect their wealth. I was in a very fortunate position by this that I'm about to share with you. We were in a position at 37 to be financially free. I tried the retirement story for 7 years. And then Tanya said to me, she could see that I was starting to get depressed. She said to me, go and teach. I never thought that I would like to teach, but the results that my students, and the moment that I started teaching and I felt that I'm worth something and that I can contribute, my life changed. And this is who I am today. I'm a teacher. And I try to, well, not try, I'm sharing my experience, hoping that it will help other people. Right, so over the last, it's now 19 years, in 2002, Tanya said to me, go and teach. I've helped literally tens of thousands of people all over the world to create, to grow, to protect their wealth by applying the Wealth Creator strategy. And we'll get into the strategy a little bit later on. So I'd like to share some of the investment strategies that I've successfully applied, and then show you the results. That's a reason. And in the process, to help you in order to, first of all, open your mind, and secondly, to give you a direction, a blueprint that you can start to follow, so that you can start implementing basically tonight, and start searching and start researching this topic in order that you can do this that I'm doing too. Now, I can tell you that it's not always an easy process, for the simple fact that there's a lot of nonsense out there, and we get confused with, because everyone seems to be right. The only way that I know if I'm right or wrong is to look at the results. And I suggest that you look at other people. Please do not take advice from someone that is poorer than you. If that person is poorer than you, please do not take his or her advice, no matter how many bloody degrees they've got. And I see most people that is giving advice is poorer than the people that they give advice to. Okay, so over the last 19 years, I took on challenges. All these challenges was to show my students that you do not need money, you need the right mindset. And some of them a little bit crazy. I'm in South Africa, by the way. The principles apply anywhere in the world. Basically, you can convert it back into dollars or or pounds or rands or Zim dollars or whatever you want to. Right, so the first challenge that I took on after I started teaching people about property, I bought 49 properties in 94 days without costing me a cent. So never during that time did I pay a cent. When I took on the challenge, I did use the way that I teach my students, because most people do use other people's money, what they call it. I'm not in favor of that, but I use that because that is where and how I've started and how most other people started. Right. Another challenge that I took on, because people say, yeah, but Hannes, it's because you've got the security and because you were rich already and because you have the assets and stuff like that. And I said to them, you don't need money, you need the skills. So I took on a challenge, and literally the original challenge was to take 1,000 rand here in South Africa and turn it into 10 million in 2 years and 3 months. Now, for my United States people, I see these people from Canada and so forth, it's about, at that point in time, it was about 11, 12 American cents, right? And it was $1.3 million at the end of that. I did it, by the way, I structured it, it cost me 79 cents, which is this 10, 11 cents, into more than 10 million, $1.3 million in 2 years and 3 months. That whole process, I've documented, it's on the internet till today. People can go and have a look, the financials, the income, the P&L, everything was there. Plus I had a group of students that followed me in order to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, so that is something. Now, here's the trick. Unless you've got the skills, this is not going to be possible, because I did not take a risk. I did not stand security like I did with the properties. I did not use partners. I did not use venture capital. I did not use credit loan accounts. I literally started with 79 cents, and that is the auditors, independent auditors certification that they've checked this whole process. That property in South Africa cost me nothing. It cost the company the 79 cents initially. By the way, it cost me nothing. It cost the company, because we structure it, we wrap it within entities in order to make it more secure and to give more security to that, because one of the things that we do is to protect our assets. Right. So another lekker challenge that I had, lekker, by the way, if you from the States, is just a nice lekker word for nice or happy. I don't actually know what it means in English, but that was to turn a 5 cent. I had to structure this, by the way, and I did this on the fly. We were in Cape Town and I'm doing a presentation, and someone challenged me and said, yeah. So I took on the challenge. It was 5 cents. There's videos on YouTube where I took on this challenge, and I've turned that in 9 months by applying the ruler's principle. Maybe if you'd like more information about the ruler's principle, you can let me know, and maybe we can do a little webinar or something on that at a certain stage. But I apply the ruler's principle to show people that you can, if you've got 5 cents, that's more than enough. I don't think you can even express this in dollars. It's basically zero money. Right, and I turned that into 23 million passive income property, and it literally took 9 months. By applying this that I'm going to share with you tonight. So if you'd like to know that, please let me know. I'll come to the question and answers right in a while. Another challenge, and this is actually the foundation of this that I want to speak to you and discuss with you and give you the case study as well as the blueprint, was to turn $1 into more than $70,000 in a cryptocurrency investment in less than a year by applying the Wealth Creators method and the Wealth Creators strategy. So let me give you a little bit of background on this one so that you can understand. My mind, because I'm a wealth creator, I know how to create and grow my money. Whenever I do something, if I want to buy a helicopter, right, I'm not going to use my existing money in order to do it, or pledge security to buy the chopper. There's no fun in doing that. I mean, it's stupid to go and use money that you've got. I want to create. So what I do is I set myself a goal and I give myself a time frame, and then I start this exact process. We call it the Wealth Creators method, by applying the Wealth Creators strategy to get the money, to pay the tax, and to buy the chopper cash. Or if I bought a game farm, and I see a lot of you that were on the game farm, that is Shumbas. That is exactly what I've done. I've set a goal, and this is the way that I've done it. This house that I'm staying in, exactly the same thing. So whenever I took on a challenge, that is the way that my mind operates. Now, on the 15th of April 2019, from that point on, a year later, we've already planned for like a year. We wanted to go on a 4x4. I love the outdoors. I love the bush. I love Africa. I love the countryside. And I love to be in nature. So we plan to travel from here in Cape Town in South Africa all the way up to, I just want to see, there's the card, up to Russia, St. Petersburg, then through Europe, back in from Spain into Morocco with the 4x4s. It would take us about 8 months, but the budget at that point in time was basically about $70,000 that we would need in order to do this. And then I thought, let me make it fun, because I've started playing around with cryptocurrencies. I invented and developed a little system, actually 3 systems in one strategy. And the results that I got was phenomenal. So I thought, let me share this and see if other people would be interested in this. So the original challenge was basically $1 single to turn it into $70,000. And the reason for that was I wanted to show people, because, 2 or 3 years ago, cryptocurrencies today, it's a different game. But 3 years ago, 2 years ago, people said, no, it's nonsense and I don't know what else. But I wanted to show that I can, in any one of these 45 countries that we plan, that I could exchange Bitcoin at the highs or lows, because I didn't see that as investment at that point in time. I saw it as a way of exchange, maybe a stupid way of exchange, but that was a challenge to me, and I wanted to prove that. And then when I got back, I'd still have the $70,000 in a cryptocurrency portfolio. That was the plan. But then COVID, literally like a year ago, when about 17, 18 days before the 15th of April 2020, when we would start that journey, that's COVID story that is now worldwide. And I'm so glad that we were not somewhere in Africa when it happened. So we got stuck here. But that then immediately, by the way, that is what it was, less than 2 weeks ago, 500, I think at the moment it's about 550. We'll have a look at a later stage, so that we can see. Maybe let me do a change here. I've got no idea where this cursor is. Right, so that is basically what I wanted to do and why I took on the challenge. But then on last year, when I saw that we're not going to travel, I did not plan anything for last year. So I thought, why not take this money? At that stage, there was $103,000. And I thought, why not taking this money and simply take this money and see if we can't turn that in 5 years, that is 4 years from then, into $1 million, just for fun. And that is where this thing actually started. And at the moment, as we see, it's $500,000. It's not to say that it's going to be $500,000. It means that it can drop tonight. Maybe the Bitcoins disappear completely. So it's high risk, but I'm going to show you that even though it's high risk, there's no risk in the way that we as wealth creators do it, because we're better off, because if I did not take on that challenge, I would not be having that money or that fun that we had. Okay, so another thing, I just want to see where the heck we are. Now, how do we start? What is success? Unless we know what success means, we're not going to become successful. And just like money, and most people don't know what success really means. Success is, if we look at Earl Nightingale's, his definition, success is a progressive realization of a worthy goal. So we always start by having a goal, and that is why I love these challenges, because it gives me a goal. The progressive realization is to see if I'm getting closer to my goal, and the way to measure that financially is very simple. Is my IGR, that formula that I gave you, bigger than my FFGR? As long as that happens, even though I haven't got the million or the 10 million or the 100 million, I know that I'm going to get there in time, simply because I've got that energy within my investment in order to be able to do it. And the great thing is, if things do turn against me, I am resourceful enough in order to change because it's not set in stone, because things are moving around like this coronavirus story like crazy. There's no certainty, and therefore you have to adopt the whole time. But if you apply the wealth creator strategy, I don't think I've mentioned the definition. I'll come back to the definition again. It's the intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. Right, that's the definition. So you can see it's an incredible, flexible definition. And I'm going to get into that definition and break it down so that you can understand that and start to apply that. So we see it's a progressive. To measure that, unless I can measure it, I can't manage it. And that's why on a day-to-day, in a week-to-week, in a month-to-month, and a year-to-year basis, I'm measuring these goals. And then also, there's something else that I see that people don't pick up. We try to be opportunity seekers, hop, skip, and jump from one thing to the next instead of gaining the skills. So here's the trick, and maybe write it down. If you want to become successful, you need to get the right information in the right order for the level of the game that you're at, and then you have to implement it. In other words, you have to do it. Why do we need to do it? Simply to see what the results are. Because the results will tell me if I'm on target or below target. If I'm below target, it means that I have to change or up my skill or my game in order to get back to. It's a very simple process, right? Now, the great news is, the way that I see it, is that what's the quickest way? Is there anyone that would like to know the quickest way that I know to become successful? Right. So Wayne says, for example, success is finding the right mentor that can change your mindset. He also says, show me. Terry says he wants to have the ruler's principle. Terry, we definitely make sure that you're going to get it. Lilo and Netta will send it afterwards. The ruler's principle. Roland says, your experience, wisdom, and knowledge is proof of your results. Absolutely. Right. So I just want to see, I love your English, Hannes. That is Karen. I love that myself. I've got no idea where I am, but I'm trying. And I think that you can hear the accent. Right. So let's basically, this is the way that I see it. And again, I may be wrong. Maybe let me get my slide so that you can see where we are. I call it the golden triangle. And let me close this, because otherwise maybe you can't see that portion. So like Wayne says, get yourself a mentor, but there's a trick around this. Get a mentor that has got the results that you want. Okay, so first thing. The second thing is, make sure that the mentor is not your buddy and he's not on the same level that you're at. Because I see people are getting coaches and mentors that pleases them. Instead of holding them accountable, what you do is okay. No, if you're not doing fucking the right thing, the mentor should tell you, listen, buddy, you are going to see there's a problem coming. The second thing is, make sure that that mentor has done that you want to achieve before he started teaching. In other words, he must have a system, and that system must be proven by him or by her. I achieved financial freedom 7 years before I started teaching, and it was because my wife told me, you listen to your wife, go and teach, that I started teaching. There's no reason for me to teach. Today I love it. And then thirdly, make sure that you have the right belief systems, or that you adopt the belief system, the mental story, because that is the most important skill. That is where people are going wrong. So make sure that you want to achieve that you can see that there's a system, because if you try to get the knowledge of the mentor, it's going to take you 20, 30, 40 years to do it. But if he's got a system, he can literally teach the system, like the Property Pro system, literally within a day. I've taught that system for 10 years in a live situation in front of an audience in literally a day. And the result, and maybe some of my students can start sharing that results if they do have, and if they do want to do it. But it's phenomenal what you can do in a very short time. In other words, you do not have to go and get degrees and stuff like that. Now, the moment that is in place, now there's only 4 high-value skills. We get into the high-value skills a little bit later on. The first high-value skill, and maybe write it down before we get there, is high mental skills. A high mental skill means that you have to be open and willing to take responsibility and willing to let go of that is not serving you and those belief systems that is keeping you. In other words, you have to stretch yourself into a new way of thinking in order to get these results. Otherwise, you would have these results yourself. So once that is in place, and this is the most difficult part for most people. Remember, I'm helping you to set you up so that once we get to the case study, you're going to see how simple it is. There's nothing to this, right? Only 3 financial skills that you need to master. And you don't even have to master all 3. And they are, that's not what I wanted to do, sorry. I want to go there and click on that. So there's high income skills, but that means I'm working for my money. The second skill is high business skills. The chances are 90% that you're not going to focus on that simply because we are conditioned not to focus on that. But that means that my business is working for me. And thank you for the thumbs up. And then the most important one is high investment skills. And that is where my money then starts working for me. But if you want the kind of results that I've talked about, the $1 or the 79 cents into 10 million or 11 cents into $1.3 million, then you have to start thinking of combining these skills. That is, by the way, that is exactly what Warren Buffett did when he started Berkshire. Actually, before you started Berkshire Hathaway, that is what Anton Rupert here in South Africa did. That was what successful people are doing. So that is the quickest way that I know to become successful. Now, maybe, I don't know if I've got students here, but if you've got results, for example, in the cryptocurrencies, if you feel like that, why don't you share that with us? Please don't give us the ticker symbol and stuff. Maybe your best performer and maybe the averages. That is, of course, if you want to do that. You don't have to do that. I just want to see, because sometimes this is a lot better proof than me trying to yappity. Let's quickly see who says, Steen, that is one of my students, by the way. He says he walks and talk. The talk, I think that is what he's saying. David, get the right information skill in the right order for the level of the game that you're at, and then you have to do it. Leach basically said, please send me everything as well. We will do that, absolutely. Mainframe best, I'm not sure. Wayne says, my portfolio is up by 700%. Wayne, well done. That is flippin' amazing and incredible. Okay, Brian Shepherd. Brian, I think you're in the UK, if I remember correctly. That is 650% in 2 years. And let's quickly see Peter Revet, 2005.64%, 1,451%, 1,099, 385. Peter, that is flippin' crazy, amazing. David says, what is he saying there? 3,275, that is his best, and overall 360%. Express says 3,700%. Right, I think that is Tony, by the way. I know Tony is one of my students. Manuela says 1,577%. Right, so Ruan, I think Ruan may be in England, maybe I've got it wrong, 320%. Now, you can go and have a look. I think we're going to sit here the whole night, 160%. Jan Olivier, what is it? Best performer, 2,200, 14,000%, 2,900%. Average growth, 755%. Rudy Ship. Okay, Rudy knows the method. So he started also with the dollar. So it's a phenomenal growth. It's 4.8 million% within 18 months. Right. So Gold Wealth, 55,000%. Manuela, Wilco, bigger than 500%. Now, really thank you. We're going to sit here the whole night. So thank you for sharing. We can come back to that a little bit later on. But I think let's continue. So here's the question. Where on earth do you start? If you want to start off now, what is it that you need to get in place? And this is part of the blueprint so that we can continue. The first thing that I advise you to do is to set yourself, I wrote this little book, Power Goal, right? Set yourself a power goal. Right? A power goal is not a smart goal. It is something far deeper than that. Now, in essence, the reason why we set a goal is not to achieve the $1 million. The reason why we set a goal is to become the person that can achieve the $1 million. Because if you're that person, you can set buying a helicopter for free and you can do it. If you're a wealth creator, in other words, set a goal to become a wealth creator where you can have whatever you want and create it literally for free. That's the thing. And by the way, a wealth creator, I've already said it, is a person that knows how to create, to grow, and to protect their wealth, right? Without taking risk. The second thing that you need to know, this is mindset. I hope that you can see this has got 100% with that high value mindset, that mental skill. The second one is you need to know your why. Maybe it's because of your ego. Maybe it's because you failed your matric and you wanted to prove the peers, or maybe because you've got a doctorate degree and people say, yeah, but you actually don't know what to do. And then you grind them a little bit and say to them, okay, what the hell is your result? Here's mine, and the whole world can see this. I don't know. I'm using this for motivation, because the moment that I say something, then I have to start reacting and getting that. What is your why? Write down your why, maybe, or separate wherever you want. Once you've got the why, now we move one tier down. And that is, but how are you going to do? This is where the strategy comes in. I'm going to get serious deep into the strategy. The intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. I'll show you how to implement that, and then show you in the case study how to do that as well. Right, then your what? What is the method? How do you put all of this together in your processes, procedures, the milestones, and stuff like that? And then you need to know, but when and where. So you always start actually, but where am I? Where do I want to be? And that ties back this whole process with the wealth creator strategy. So your environment plays a huge role. And the when and where is where I'm using the IGR must be bigger than the FSGR the whole time to see if I'm on track, because otherwise I know that I need to do something. Right, and that I need more inputs or more skills to be able to do it. So let's get maybe then into, where are we? Into the wealth creator strategy. Is there anyone that would like to learn quickly what this wealth creator strategy? While I wait for you, people, let me see. Leon, 485%. Yes, that's incredible. Andre, 803% with the best performer, 3,700. Gerda, reset, forget what you knew, start fresh. Let's quickly have a look. Learn but keep what you feel has value and works for you. Newbie here, I may be wrong. You're not wrong. That is your belief system. I hope that you're going to change maybe part of the belief system, but that is perfect. Ockert says, my best coin is 13,000% and 5,000 and 6,000%. Marius, I'm a student of Hannes since 2005. Marius, we're coming a long way. I'm still learning on a weekly basis. Started the crypto investor in 2018. Top 3 coins, 5,700% and so forth. Right, incredible. It is fabulous. Right, so yep, yes. Okay, there we go. Let's get into the wealth creator strategy. Let me put my face back on. Where are we? There. I hope that we're on and that you can see it. Okay, so there we go. The wealth creator strategy, maybe write it down, right? Or come back to this video and recap this. It's the intelligent use of limited resources to go from where we are to where I want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. Intelligent use simply means I have to think for myself. I cannot dare to let other people control my mind or my money or my destiny. It's my responsibility. It's my life, and therefore it's my responsibility. If you're not prepared to do that, I can tell you now, you're not going to get and become a wealth creator. Okay, now the right way to do it is actually to start at the bottom. In other words, Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. Reverse engineer. So when I set a goal, I start with the end in mind. Who do I want to become? The same with the wealth creator strategy. We start with the end, and the end is with the least amount of risk. That is what we're going to do, right? So how do we do that? Let me show you. The least amount of risk. Risk is, as I've said, is when you do not know what you're doing. So how do we offset risk financially? Right. We need to get the skills or the competency. Competency means it's the skills applied, in other words, skills that you can prove. It's the experience by doing that and the applied knowledge by actually doing that. That is going to give you a result, and the result will tell you if you're on track. Right. Now, the four high value skills is the following. The first one is what I call the fundamental skill. And this skill is applicable to all areas of wealth, right? All 7 areas of wealth. We're in the financial side here, but it applies. And that is high value mental skills. If you do not put time in personal development, in developing your way of thinking and be different from other people, you'll never get this kind of result, guaranteed. Now, there's only 3 high value financial skills. And any one of these, all of them are important, but the most important one is the investment skill. But let me quickly explain that to you. The first one is the high value, what we call a money skill. Right. Most people, the moment that you've got a job, you've got a high value money skill because you are making money. Right. That is one. But here's the problem. You're working for your money. The second one is high value business skill. The problem with the business, most people don't understand business and they work in their business in order to make money. In other words, they're selling their time and the effort. And later on, when we get into the case study, you're going to be blown away to see how simple this process is by just doing this that I'm busy sharing with you and setting you up for success. I hope that that is what you want. And then the last one is the most important one, and that is the high investment skill. This is where you know your money, how to work for you. And the only way that your money can work for you is if your IGR is bigger than your FFGR. The moment that your IGR is smaller than your FFGR, you have to work for your money. The moment that is the other way around, you will become rich because your money is working for you. And the harder your money is working over your FFGR, the sooner you'll become rich. There's nothing to this, my friend. It's a simple, straightforward process. Right, maybe let me just switch off my face so that you can see if you want to take notes. Right, so those are the points. Now, the way that I've done it, I limit myself to say $1. The reason why I don't like to do this for free and with no money is because people associate, yeah, but you borrowed the money from somewhere else. Limit to $1 means that I start with $1, right? And that means I have to be creative to do it. That means it's a high value mental skill. I hope that you can see. If you haven't got the mental skills, if you do not believe that you can do it, and you know that you can do it, it's not going to work. All right? So that is crucial. Now, the second part is that I like to share with you in the shortest possible time. So remember, we reverse engineer this. So what is the perception? I need to feel comfortable. I want to do something that is incredible, but at the same time, because there's other people following me, I want to make damn sure that for other people it sounds impossible, but I'm going to feel comfortable because I know that we travel quite a lot. We love to travel. I don't spend a lot of time with my investments. I'm really very, very lazy. In my younger days, that was a different story, but for the last, 26 years, that is a lot higher performance. So I don't want to overcommit, especially if I've got students with me. Maybe the wrong thing. And then the initial challenge, as I've said, was $1 into $70,000 within a year. Because we achieved that and because we could not go for the COVID story during that period, I changed it to $1 million and we were 130 at the end of the first year. Now, where in time and space are you? Now we're going to get back because I'd like to show you how to do the calculation. There's a trick. Let me share with you the trick. The trick is if you take your IGR, your investment growth rate, versus your financial freedom growth rate, we can confuse the two very, very quickly. So if you measure your financial freedom growth rate in return on investment, then your IGR must also be return on investment. If it's compounded monthly, then this has to be compounded monthly. If this is compounded yearly, this one must be compounded yearly. Right, so I'm talking to myself and no one can actually see what I'm trying to share with you. Okay, so that is, but let me get back. So this is simply, if I want to turn 1,000 Rand per month over 5 years into $1 million, it means that is my financial freedom growth rate. In other words, 89%. If I work on the return on investment, the amount of money that I'm going to put in is 60,000. To get to $1 million is 1,600%. If I do it in a lump sum, in a once off, my dollar needs in 5 years a hell of a growth in order to get to $1 million, and compound it yearly. If I do this on a yearly basis, it means that now it is going not yearly the dollar, but I do the compounding in order to take $1 into that, it's 1,400%. That is the way that it's going to work, right? So we have to be certain that we get that right, because otherwise we may run into a problem. So let me get back to you. I hope that you are picking up and that you are with me. And if not, please come back to this and redo this. So what is the limited resources? We've got 4 serious limited resources: time, effort or energy, our mindset, which is the biggest one, and then the skills. Now the skills are skills that they will not teach you at varsity. The educational system is not going to teach you. So you have to find somewhere else, or a mentor that is prepared and that has mastered these skills in order to be able to transfer these skills to you. That is a process that you'll have to follow in order to do this. Right, so that is limited resources. The intelligent use means that I have to think. I cannot think and rely on other people. I have to take the responsibility. And here's the trick about us as wealth creators. The trick for us is this: we are resourceful, because life does not happen the way that you plan. No one foresee this COVID, definitely not myself and my wife and my family. We did not foresee this. But during this time, because we're flexible, we are actually having a deeper and a better quality of life than we had before, because we reset during this time and say, but what is really valuable to us, and what do we value, and what do we want to achieve? Because for a full year, I did not plan anything. So that is where the resourceful and the intelligent use of limited resources then comes in. I hope that you've got that. Right. So can I show you the 4 high value skills before we get into the case study? We're almost an hour already into this, and show you how simple it really works with this framework that you've got right now. So if that is something, please let me know, and then in the comment section, and then I can start from there. Right, Chris, ask a question. Hi, Okkert, how on earth did you manage that? Can you teach me the basics? Please, Chris, don't be fooled. Remember, I'm giving you a tip. Why do you want to learn from a student if the mentor is available to teach you? Don't you think you should go to the source? Right, you want to associate with someone that's going to make it easy. Okkert is a brilliant person and a wonderful person. But Okkert has got a problem, right? And that is that he's getting there, but he's not there yet. So make sure that you get, I'm giving you a tip. You don't have to follow Okkert. Go for it and help the guy if you want to, right? But we try to find an easy way, because we know that we are going to be accountable by a mentor. We're not going to be accountable by our friends, because our friends wants to please us. I'm not here to please you, my friend. I'm here to get results, and I want you to get the results. And that is the reason why my students are getting a result. Right. So Chris says, honest, I do not have a clue what you're talking about. Can you please move more practical way and show some figures? Right. I'll do that for you. Let's get into the figures. Why not? If that is what you want, let's get into the figures. Let me see where we are. Now we're going to make it more practical. Right. Now, remember there's high mental skills, then there's 2 sources of income, high income and high business. And then there's a third one, high investment skill. So now I'm going to show you 3 different scenarios. And most people take money when they invest in an investment or they start a business. So let's assume that's $10,000, right? So in the first month or the first year, there's 100 income. That is the total of income, and that gives you a 99% negative growth on your investment. You do this, and at the end of the period, you're going to see that at this stage, it cost you $1,000, and this is the only variable that I'm going to change in the 3 to show you the idea. In other words, if I've got my mental skill is going to determine what my growth is going to be. Always. My mental skill will determine the growth, because that is where the intelligent use of limited resources go. So in this case, I've got a great month there at $100,000. Right. I've got $101,000 in the kitty of my business. Can you see this is my story, high mental skill. This is the business or my high income, and this is investment. So I take 50,000, let's put it in Bitcoin. I take 50,000 out. Now I transfer that into my investment. So it can be the same entity, but it's a different set of books. It can also be a different, if you want to structure credit loan accounts and stuff like that, it can be a different entity as well. So now I've got a loan account. My business, this entity or myself owes this business 50,000. And I've got in total the amount minus that in my investment account. So when we look at the total, we're going to see that all I did at this stage, I transfer funds from this account to that account. And therefore you'll see that the growth is exactly the same. So in my year and year, it's the same thing. But now, next month, guess what's going to happen? I do not put more money into this, and I do not generate more money. So that's going to be the same. But let's say your Bitcoin falls by 50%. So from 50,000 down to 25,000. Can you see what happens with your return on investment? It drops. But check here, if that grows, then that's going to be your return on investment. And the return on investment shows your competency. Right. That net effect, if we measure return on investment, that means that my IGR on this investment that I've made in the way that I'm doing by applying the method, which is high income skill, high business skill, high mental skill, as well as high investment skill. This is the net result of that. Now, let's go to the second one. So in the second scenario, we say, but I've got more skills. Mentally, I've been prepared, and it only cost me $1. So check here. $1, exactly the same thing, but there's a negative. And therefore, it means that there's not enough funds in my investment. That means that I have to supplement, we call it a credit loan account. I have to give my business or my investment or my property, I have to pay in I have to find that money somewhere. That is 601. So now my investment changes from 1 to 600 because of one little slip up that I've made, because I did not think, I did not plan, I did not care for that. That means that my growth is going to drop almost like a stone from, 39,900 to 133 by doing that. But I've got a great week or month or year. I've got the same, just like before. I take the 50,000 out. That stays exactly the same. And I ended up with a lot more money in my pocket. Therefore, a lot bigger growth. I can't actually see there. It's, 25,000% instead of 1,300%. I hope that you see where we're going. But we're not done. What if I put in a little bit more effort and change my mindset so that nowhere during this phase, this 3 years or 2 years or 1 year, I'll run into more than the $1. So this simply means that month, instead of doing what I thought that I would do, I'm not going to do it because I see that it's going to be negative. And then suddenly this thing changes to, what is it? I'm not sure if it's 15 million or 150 million. It's 15 million. And that is how powerful this is. And it's exactly the same principle that I followed when I bought the 49 properties in 94 days. It's exactly the same principle to turn the 11 cents into $1.3 million in 2 years, in 3 months, or the 79 cents into 10 million. It's exactly the same principle where I'm using the 5 cents into a 29 million passive income. It's exactly the same principle and strategy and formula and method that I've used in order to turn the $1 into what it is today, 500 and something odd $1,000. So who's getting this? The moment that you get that, just share that with me and let me know. If you don't really get it, so the case study of the 1 to 500,000 is exactly that. In other words, I sat down and the intelligent use of limited resources. Every one of us has got limited resources. My limited resources at that day was I had a program, I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, I have the cryptocurrency system, I do have the property system. So those are my limited resources. Yours is going to be different, but you have to use that you've got. And I said, okay, but how can I structure this so that from a security point of view, from a risk point of view, the maximum risk that I'll ever have to take will be $1. Right. So I typically said, okay, let me wrap this, my high income skill with my high business skill, in my high investment skill, but in a business. So I started a new business. I wrap it around that skill so that in the event that something goes wrong, I still have the money irrespective of what happened. I did use my property in the process when I saw that I've got 2 years of interest that I could carry a property if I take a credit loan account or out of my access bond or my credit line. The moment that I structure a deal, and that is a gearing, but that gearing can be disastrous unless you've catered for that, you understand what's going to happen, you've established the track record that this that you are busy doing is working for you. Only then will you do that. Right. Now, by the way, I would have been better off in the beginning by not following this, but I wanted to show my students, my Legacy Mastermind students, the method students. Now, the method, there's two methods. There's the investment method and the business method that we've got at the Wealth Creators University. The combination of the two, we actually call the Legacy Mastermind. Those students, and I see a lot of them on here tonight, that is what we've done. And they followed every single step. But the first 13 weeks, 91 days, we worked on only one thing and one thing only, the mental skills. While I started doing this, I showed them the mental skills because they've got access to the full Wealth Creators University with all the courses so that they can pick up what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I hope that that helps a little bit. So that is where we started. And then the second thing that happened, that is where I changed my strategy and basically that. Now, I'm going to open it up for questions because that is all that you need to know. Right. So let's get into the questions. And if you've got questions, now's the time to ask me, and then we'll take it to the next level if you want, of course, the next level. So, therefore, you're leveraging your skills to up your... Well, the only way that you can up your return on investment, Wayne, will always be by using the 4 skills. But the 3 skills will not happen unless the high mental skill is in place, Wayne. There's no frickin' way. People try to have shortcuts, and that is where the problem get in. Terry, I got a bit lost. No problem, Terry. This will be on YouTube. You've got the link. Sit back, pause the video, make sure that you've got it. Right, Terry? That is what we've got. Right. Jan says, I get it, been with Womanis for a while. That is great. Michaela says, I don't get it. Michaela, simply go back and redo this. I know it was a lot of information. We already an hour into this, and I really want to add more value. Right. So, Roland says, Womanis, you turn my brain into number soup. Mental overload. It's not a mental overload. Be careful. What I'm doing, I'm getting you in a state. If you're confused, right, then that is where you're going to... What you want is to be on that brink of order and disorder, because that is where the brain is now going to say, but what the hell, it makes sense, but I need to find out. You've never been thinking for yourself ever in your life, Roland. That is the problem. And now suddenly here comes a person that says everything that you know is bullshit. Everything that you've learned is bullshit. All the degrees that you've got is bullshit. of course it's going to be an overload on your brain, because your brain, you've got in your belief system is being scattered at the moment, and that's the purpose, that's the reason. Unless you are prepared to be scattered in terms of your brain, you're not going to move to the next level. Because in your mind, your belief system is a mental, there's what we call a reticular activated system. The reticular activated system, that you believe, you're going to justify that with everything in you, because your ego does not want to get out of the comfort zone, and your ego does not want to grow. That means you have to justify that what you're doing and getting this poor results that you're getting is actually not so bad. Because otherwise you have to face up to your potential that your Creator gave you to have a life of abundance. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to become that person. So what do our subconscious mind, our reticular activated system does? It distort, generalize, delete, and add information to line up with our framework, with our belief system. But suddenly, that I'm telling you cannot be lined up with any of your belief system. None of your belief system will allow you to digest this stuff. So the only way you can say, this is fool, this is ridiculous, this is bullshit, or you can say, hey, I need to start thinking for myself and figuring out if this that Womanis is saying isn't perhaps the truth. Because if it is the truth, I can build a legacy, and I do not be dependent on someone else to do it. I can create my own life. This is what I want. So if you in a state, confusion is great. Confoculation is the problem. Confoculate is when you do not know that you don't know what you're supposed to know. To be confused is to be overwhelmed, because now the brain has to form new neurosynapses in order to say, but okay, if this is possible, frickin', I'm going to do this, or I'm going to give it a chance, or I'm going to listen to each and every one of Uncle Hannes's. I'm going to attend all his bloody webinars till I get it, because I could see what his other students are doing. So if they are doing that and they're normal, by the way, my students, please tell me, do you have fancy degrees? Do you have any experience when you started in getting these phenomenal growths that you shared with us? Or is it simply you followed the golden triangle, right? And it's a miracle, because your mind has opened up and you say, okay, let me follow this. Let me enter into a year mentoring with this guy, because maybe, just maybe, what he's saying is true. And if that is true, my life is going to change. Isn't that phenomenal? So I love it if you say to me, you're confused, because I know I'm going to leave this video, this training session on YouTube. Refer your friends. Get a group of people together. Get those suits together, those clever people, and let them disprove me. Right? Let them disprove me. Right? But we're going to help them and change their minds as well. And that's what I want. That's all that I want. Because we need to understand, because the truth is what's going to set us free. Not this bullshit that the system teaches us and indoctrinates us and forces onto us. This whole money system is forced onto us. But the moment that we understand the system, we can use the system to get whatever we want in life. This is an incredible life that we've got. Right. I just want to see, Peter says, skill development will result in the follow, always the spiritual first, then the transformation into the unlimited potential. That is actually exactly what it is. Johnny says, I love it. Me too, I got lost a bit. Perfect. Gaming, yes, Peter, I need to work on my mind first. That you always start with your mind first. Always. It's always the mind first. And people think it's this technique or the skill or show me how. No, it's not how. The how is start with your mind, becoming who you want to be. Define that. Then why do you want to do that? What strategy? The strategy is the how. It's not, people think there's a miracle, there's a silver bullet. There's no silver bullet in the world. Right. Gerda says, fully agree. Where are we? I was at a place where I couldn't remember names nor complete simple sentences. Well, I hope that you're over that. Right. Correct. Info in the right order via a mentor. Right. Leach says, I'm more interested in the property side of things when is the next webinar? I missed it yesterday. Lilo and I thought the email for tonight. Okay, attend. I think there will be next week. Just make sure that you attend. By the way, Leach, that property webinar is basically the same thing, right? If I use property, or if I use cryptos, or if I use businesses, or if I use whatever, it starts with the mindsets first, right? Brian, so I need a bond or a business to leverage my 650 to... No, Brian, that's bullshit. You don't need farko. You don't need a bond to do that. I've done it. I would have been better off. My students that is following me on a week-to-week basis, I've showed them that at the end result, after I've settled the bond, the risk reversal, I would have been better off by not taking that bond. But I wanted to show people that there's a possibility that you can do that. Right. So don't fall for that. Don't fall into what you believe. Follow the process. Follow the legacy mastermind, and then don't make up your mind before you actually see what I'm doing. Right. True, my belief system is scattered for sure. Right. Jan only uses degrees, did not help much. Right. I've been following Honest since 2000, and I never will stop or give up. Thank you for that. Wayne, I'm loving the passion and the fire. Thank you, Wayne, for that. The flippin', degrees help me back and cost me in years. That's the main thing. We've only got a limited, remember, our limited resource is our time. Our time is a limited resource. And by wasting 5 years of following the wrong strategy, we cannot really make that up. Of course, there's a way to excel it, but you could have been there 5 years earlier. You could have retired with today, I know that I'll need a year to be in a position to retire better off than what I did when I was 37 years of age. Right. Confoculation is one of the best things. Unconfoculate. That was a function that I'm doing here. Chris, I'm not getting the practical side. Right. It sounds more theoretical than practical. Chris, unless you get the mindset right, remember, Chris, I'm in your face and I'm telling you that everything that you believed in is wrong. It cannot work. It will not work. It's proven not to work. There's not a freaking person on this earth that became rich by thinking the way that normal people through their educational system and the financial system was thinking. So you have to step out. Now, of course, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You want more practical. I gave you exactly the practical where I showed you how to do it. If your mindset is not there, you won't be able to do it. Therefore, change your mindset first. But it's a skill, and skills are teachable and transferable. Right? On condition that you are prepared to take the responsibility. This bullshit that people say there's an easy way is freaking wrong. Earl Nightingale says, in order to become successful, right, that the goal is a progressive realization of a worthy goal if you want to become successful. I've got a different definition. I didn't want to share that with you. Success means the ability to bear pain. If you are not willing to bear pain, to learn this stuff, to experience this, to go out to do it, you'll never fucking be rich in your whole life, my friend. Forget about what these gurus try to tell you, that just do this and this. It's not going to work. You have to get the skills yourself. You cannot rely on someone else. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Right. I need to know how to attain that high skills. You have to learn that. Right. You know the 4 high skills. If you don't want me as a mentor, go and find someone that has, like I've said, that has proven that they can do it. But find someone that has proved in all 4 high value skills. It's not good to say, yeah, I'm good with Facebook, and you're as freaking poor as possible, and you show that I've made $1 million, but it has cost you 1.2 million. And those gurus are out there. I know them personally. They're bullshitting because they need the money. I don't need the fucking money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you that find the right mentor. That's what I'm saying. If you don't find the right mentor, you're going to try to find someone that is going to please you, and the person that is going to please you is not going to speak the truth because they depend on your bloody income or on your money for their income. That's what I'm saying. And if you get that, you're going to get it. Right. Peter says, I must have missed something. I don't know how you use crypto trading. I'm not trading cryptos, Peter. I'm not trading cryptos. I've done 2 transactions. I got in, I got out. In the crypto, I'm explaining that. I got out, I got back in, and since then, when my students started joining, since then till today, we've stopped 1 position. I'm fully in with 60 coins. I've got 5 different portfolios, right? But I'm not a trader. People look at Warren Buffett and they think he's a trader. He's an investor. A moose difference between a trader. A trader is the most stupid, idiotic thing that you can ever do, and I can prove that to you. Right? So don't tell me or make the assumption that I'm trading. I'm an investor. I'm a wealth creator that's actually above investments. Right? I hope that helps a little bit. Right, Ruan, a perfect example as big money does not, and not the big money says, there is a reason why 99% of the population is not financially free. Och Mandino, I love, och man, I thought och Mandino changed my life. That's why, Chris too, I saw this. Right, och Mandino, 1 verse in 1982, when I was down and out, my business was busy failing, I could not see a way out. I was seriously depressed. I read a book by candlelight, The Greatest Secret in the World, because I wanted to know the secret. I couldn't bloody understand English. And that 1 verse in scroll 4 says, I'm not on this earth by chance, I'm here for a purpose, and that purpose is not to shrink into a grain of sand, but to grow into a mountain. And henceforth, I'll apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of them all, and I will strain my potential until it cries for mercy. That is where my serious mindset changed, and I changed from a lagger into becoming a zigger. In 1982, I changed actually it was in 1987, from a zigger to a zagger. And in 2002, I changed into what we call a blizzard. That's the different attitude. Right. Rudy says, if your why is strong enough, the how is easy. Change your mindset. Right. Honest, Womanus, please explain the crossover scenario on the DC and what happens. Rudy, I've had a thing 2 days ago. It's on the portal Ask Lilo or Neta. I had a full for all the cryptos, as well as for the investment, as well as for the legacy. You're a part of the legacy. Make sure that you get that training. Right. No more questions. Can we carry on, or do you want me to stop at this point in time? Is it too much? I want to take on another challenge, by the way, but if we haven't got the time and you think it's enough, then let's stop right here and there. Right. So I think this is then enough. Did you learn anything? Do you want to share this with other people? Are you willing to share this with other people? Remember, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If it feels like look at my results. If you can double that results, then yeah. If not, then maybe query the system and query the people that is giving you advice on why you're not there, and query yourself. Not the other people. Take the responsibility. You are not where you are simply because you did not put in the time, because no one told you what the skills are. No one told you the skills. Right. This is financial literacy in a spiritual, let's quickly get that on. In a spiritual, intelligent concept. Well, that is what we are. We are spirits, you know. The moment that we understand that, and that's why when you set the goal, you set it in the 5th dimension. You don't set it in this 3rd dimension. You will never ever achieve a goal that you set in the 3rd dimension, in this dimension, because you're going to base it on what you've achieved in the past. That you've done in the past is not going to give you that you want. Therefore, you have to become a different person. Therefore, in the Quantum Awakening, in the Power Goal book, I'm telling you where to set that goal and how to set that goal. Okay, a lot of people ask me to carry on. I'm quickly going to carry on. There's 1 or 2 things. Can I show you how I can help you very, very quickly? The different ways and the different levels. Intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are and you want to be in the shortest possible time. The shortest possible time is to follow a person, to get the right information in the right order for the level of the game that you're at, and then you have to do it. Okay, so I see there's quite a few people that says carry on. So I'm going to switch over to the presentation. Let's see what's next. Okay, that I've already showed you. There's a new thing that I want, because I can see I'm going to follow a completely different strategy than it's still the wealth creator strategy, but in a different way. I want to show people that their bonds, their access bond or their credit lines, that they do not use that correctly simply because they do not have the skill, and therefore their money is busy rotting. So I want to take about 68,000, it's R1 million in South Africa, more or less, and I want to turn it into $1 million within the next, I say 2022, right? So it's 2 years that I want to do. And the whole thing is going to cost me, again, like all the rest, less than $1. So I don't know if there's anyone that would like to follow me on that and see how I'm going to do that. I think it may be fun. Right, so let me know if that is something that you would be interested in to see. I just want to see where I am. Right, I think I've measured that. By the way, my Legacy Mastermind students, you'll be upgraded, and there's not going to be a cost for you involved in that whatsoever. But there's a condition, and you have to look at the condition that I've done in the webinar like 2 days ago. So we've done the question and answer. I don't see anything there yet. So is it okay if I share the investment method to help you? Remember, there's two methods. There's the investment method, and then there's the business method. And then there's a combination which we call the Legacy Mastermind. Right. Now, the way that I would go for this is simply the following. I would go, if this feels too much, attend one of my webinars called the Property Accelerator Masterclass. It's a 2-hour. I'm not going to go as broad as I've done now. I'm going to stick to property, and I'm going to show you how to use property and how to structure the property in order to get the maximum growth. Right. If you want more information regarding that, let us know. Contact the office, and they're going to let you know what is available and when the webinars will be available. Right. If you want the combination of the investment side, which is the crypto as well as the property, we've got a webinar, also the same webinar, where we'll give you the two different options, and then you can decide. And then if you want to join the Legacy Mastermind, this is not for everyone. It is the ultimate tier at the Wealth Creators University, because the moment that you join that, you are part of the full Wealth Creators University. All the courses will be yours for lifetime, but the mentoring is going to happen on a year-to-year basis. So for the first year, that's going to be included. I can tell you the price. It is not for everyone. It is not for everyone, right? The price for that course, the rest of the courses are not that expensive. Well, depending on how you see expensive, that is 46,000 Rand. But it is only for people that are serious and that can see this. I've prepared a slide somewhere. I just want to see if I can perhaps find that to explain to you what is busy happening here. Just a moment. I just want to try to find it quickly. No, that is not what I want. So if you want more information on that, either make sure that you attend other. Right, there's a slide that I'd like to show you. In life, you're going to find, I want you to remember this, right? Check here. You get 4 investment attitudes. We call it laggers, ziggers, zaggers, and blizzers. Right. In the world, in the population, those people over 25, you're going to find that 81% of the world are laggers. Nothing wrong with a lagger. I know laggers that are beautiful people and that are fabulous people. But in terms of financial literacy, they believe that they are entitled to stuff, and therefore someone else is robbing them. Therefore there's not enough, and therefore someone is stealing from them or doing them in, or they believe there's not enough. And they feel a feeling of entitlement that they must just get stuff for free. And unfortunately, that attitude means that 81% of the world's population is in total poverty. The problem is that no one is addressing this problem by teaching and telling people that the skills that they've got is not the skills. The skills are the skills of slaves. It is not the skill to be able to set you free. It's not a high value skill. There are too many people with those skills. I'd like to give you a warning. With the artificial intelligence that is busy happening and with the blockchain disruption, that blockchain that is busy disrupting 52 industries, multi-billion-dollar industries. If you don't change your belief systems as well as your skills, you're going to find that within the next 5 years, that job that you think is secure is going to be a machine, and a computer is going to do that. I've been teaching this and preaching this for many years and people did not believe me. Now the time is there where skills that you thought was immensely powerful is suddenly not. So there's a different set of skills. This is part of what we do in the Wealth Creators University. Now, 17% of the world is what we call ziggers. This to me, by the way, happened in the first week. I was a laggard up to the first week in January 1982 when I became a zigger by reading that book by Ochmandino, and I realized, but I have to take the responsibility. But I got confoculated because I thought that I must get a degree and that I must listen to clever people. That's why I started my financial career as a financial advisor and later ended up with being a financial planner, a certified financial planner. But luckily, in the year that I got my certification, basically, those days it was ILPA and later on they changed it to CFP. In that year, I also developed the Property Pro, and because of that, I saw that this is actually bullshit. And this is what I want to do, and because of that, I could retire 7 years later. Right. Now, a zagger is the moment that you understand that I have the skills and you are prepared to learn the skills. Only 1% of the population will become zaggers. Right. That is where you understand that I can let my money work as hard as I want my money to work for me. And then there's 1% of the population that are blizzers. That is the 1% that irrespective, they listen to a concept and they understand that it's for free. The moment that they understand it, even if I ask them R1 million for this or $1 million for this legacy mastermind, without hesitation, they will go for it. The zaggers will say, okay, but how can I structure a deal so they're not there yet where everything is for free? A zigger is going to say, I can never afford, let's say 49,000 Rand. I can never afford it. So let me start off by something where I can get into it. Nothing wrong with that strategy. At least you start. But the trick is don't start a course that is based on an opportunity seeker. Start a course that is based on a wealth creator's strategy and principle, because otherwise you're wasting your time, you're wasting your effort, and you're going to hop, skip, and jump from one course to the next. And laggers are going to do absolutely nothing. They will not even be on something like this. Right. So I think that is what I wanted to tell you basically tonight. If you think that this is something for you, tell us so that we can get back to you, so that we can get the ball rolling. The problem is if you're going to do nothing, nothing is going to happen. And that is insanity. Is if you do the same thing over and over thinking that you're going to get a different result. That result is not going to come. I'd like to be your mentor. I'd like to take you on this journey. If you want, maybe start with something that feels okay to you. I've got a ton of free stuff on this, on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell icon, and make sure that you watch and attend as many webinars as possible. I'm sure that will be able to help you. So I think I'm going to look at if there's more questions at this point in time. Otherwise, we're going to call this a day. Right, so can I watch yesterday's webinar somewhere? Lich, unfortunately not. You have to attend the next one. I know that next week we've got on Wednesday a webinar again. So make sure that you get there. Zuko says, I will have to start the video from scratch, especially how to turn. Perfect. Please do that. Brito says, do you recommend crypto coins to your students? No, I do not recommend anything. I'm telling my students what I'm doing and what coins I've got, but I don't recommend. They have to do their own work, and then I've got a system to be able to help them. People are afraid. Firestone, absolutely. That is unfortunately why they will not continue and do something. Hi, Womanis. How do we manage tax on cryptocurrency? That is for my crypto students. I had a whole webinar just on that to tell them how to do it. Let's get back. Do cryptos count as property and are therefore taxed according to capital gains tax? Yes, it is. At which stages of our investments do we have to pay tax? When you liquidate, when you make the profit. Okay, in short, Keith, that is when it happens. Be careful if that is less than a year, you will be income tax on that. Don't believe this story where people say you can hide that. This whole story of the Bitcoin that no one can track it, that's the biggest bullshit. It's an open source. In other words, you know exactly, if someone wants to know, like a government, they will know exactly what you've been doing. Right, and this is the beauty about this whole thing. Don't try to jeopardize the system because you will be caught. There's ways that we make tons of money legally. Don't try to take a shortcut. Ivan says, dankie meneer, ons kuier weer later. Thank you, Ivan, for that. Please share the link of yesterday's webinar. I'm not going to share that. We'll give you a link for a fresh one. You have to be there, because if you're not there, you don't want to be. To have it. I want your attention for 2 hours. If I can't get your attention for 2 hours, you're not serious. It's that simple. Right. Right. And then Gaming with the Boy says, Womanis, I want to learn more and be one of your students. What do I do from here? My office will come back to you and give you the different options, and then take it from there. That will be great. So let's call it a night. There's still quite a few people. I'm impressed, and I want to thank you for your time. I know your time is valuable. I really hope that I add a serious value and at least put you in a state of confusion and unconfoculate you. That was the purpose, and that's the reason why I'm doing this stuff. It gives me a great pleasure to see that people, wow, what the hell now? Especially if you're a CA or MBA or a CPA or a CFP or someone like that. That gives me a huge thrill. Right, so thank you for your time, and then this will be available on, I'm going to make it public. Please, if you do know of someone that can benefit from this, go for that, and refer them, or share the link, or tell them, or invite them, or do something in order to help it. Right, so Johnny says, much appreciated. Thank you for that, Gerda. If liquidated sooner, of course, circumstances change, but can prove intent. No, unfortunately, your intent is important, but SARS is not going to listen to your story, even if it's death in the family. They feel nothing for you. Right, Okkert says, I'll see you on Monday again. Okkert, Monday and Tuesday. Monday for the investment, the method, mentoring, and then Tuesday for the legacy. Right, I know that you both. Right, lekker, dankie. Ruan, on Womanis, I heard there's a new course on cryptos. Will you be offering? It depends. There's a couple of things that I need to sort out. I'm not 100% sure, but I do want to take out a new challenge. So there may be a new course. Happy Easter. Thank you. Same day to you. Roland says, well, thank you. Each webinar presenters is awesome. Terry, thank you. Right, Gaming will be emailing since I have now subscribed. Yeah, we will. If we've got your email, otherwise we'll just send you a link directly here. Right, Landy, thank you, Womanis, and then okay. Right, there we go. Thank you so much for your time. I've enjoyed myself. And then I'll see you in the next one. Also, tell me what it is that you want to know, or if there's something in terms of investing, you know, that I can perhaps help you with, where I can help the group, not the individual, but a group. Thanks for your time. I'll see you next time.